All right, fellas, this is actually happening. In just a matter of days, Jake Paul is stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua. And even now, that sentence still doesn't sound real. But when enough money gets involved, logic usually takes the night off. Somehow, we've arrived at a moment where one of the best heavyweights of this generation is lining up across from the most recognizable influencer boxer on the planet. As the fight draws closer, most people see only one outcome: disaster for Jake Paul. And the real question everyone keeps asking is simple. Is there any scenario where this doesn't end terribly? That's what we need to talk about today. A reality check. An honest breakdown of what might actually happen when these two collide. The entire build-up to this fight has been fascinating. Originally, the plan was Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, but once legal issues surfaced, that idea collapsed almost overnight. Then suddenly, the script flipped, and Anthony Joshua entered the picture. Joshua was reportedly already booked for a safe, forgettable opponent on a fight card that wouldn't have moved the needle much at all. But when the Jake Paul opportunity appeared, it was an easy switch. From Joshua's perspective, it was a no-brainer. Swap a low-impact opponent for Jake Paul, get paid like a global superstar, attract 10 times the attention, and generate massive worldwide buzz, all without taking a truly risky fight. For AJ, it was business done right. For Jake Paul, though, this fight looks insane on the surface. But in reality, it's exactly what he's been chasing since day one. From the moment he stepped into boxing, Jake wanted the biggest names in combat sports. First, it was Conor McGregor. Then, as his boxing career evolved, the call-out shifted toward legitimate boxing stars. He understood something early. Attaching his name to megastars creates legitimacy, attention, and money. The Mike Tyson spectacle proved that theory beyond doubt. The fight itself was awkward, slow, and difficult to watch, but the numbers were enormous. Historic, even. Tyson carried most of the mainstream appeal, but Jake played the role perfectly. He brought the arrogance, the controversy, and the storyline. Without him, that event doesn't reach the same level. And now they're running that same formula again. Only this time, it's bigger, younger, and far more dangerous. This time, they aren't selling nostalgia. They're selling violence. From Netflix's perspective, landing Anthony Joshua on short notice is a massive win. If you're going to host a Jake Paul fight, you want a name that moves the needle globally. And Joshua does exactly that. In many ways, this matchup rescued the entire promotion. That said, one thing has been strange. The build-up has been quiet. Jake Paul usually thrives on chaos. He lives for controversy. Cheap shots, viral moments, press conference madness. That's his fuel. But this time, he's been unusually restrained. Instead of playing the supervillain, he's almost letting the matchup itself do all the talking. And that's confusing, because Jake understands better than anyone that controversy is oxygen. But now, let's talk about the fight itself. Physically, this is a mismatch that borders on parody. Anthony Joshua is a legitimate heavyweight with Olympic pedigree, world championship experience, and over a decade of elite-level training. He's shared the ring with real killers. He's tasted victory at the highest level, and he's also tasted defeat. He's been hurt, dropped, embarrassed, and forced to rebuild. And through it all, he's been tested in ways Jake Paul simply hasn't, and never will be. Yes, Jake Paul has trained seriously. Yes, he's improved. That deserves acknowledgement. But stylistically, this might be the worst matchup imaginable for him. The speed difference alone is alarming. Joshua's jab, without even shifting into second gear, is sharper, faster, and heavier than anything Jake has ever faced. And that's just the beginning. Distance management will be another massive problem. Jake struggles when opponents don't play into his rhythm. If you stay long, disciplined, and patient, you take away his comfort. And that's exactly where Joshua excels. AJ doesn't need to chase him. He doesn't need to overcommit. He can stand tall, touch Jake at will, step out, reset, and repeat. If Joshua wants to, there are multiple ways he can embarrass Jake Paul in this fight. But if Joshua decides to go for finish, as he's publicly stated, things get dangerous very quickly. One clean right hand from Anthony Joshua isn't just a knockdown. It's a full system reboot. Jake has never experienced real power, let alone heavyweight power delivered by someone who knows how to apply it. Even a jab alone could be a shock to his system. And if Joshua smells blood, this fight could end fast. So, is there any path to victory for Jake Paul? Technically, yes. Realistically, no. Jake's only chance is to turn this into something ugly. He's mentioned that he expects a crowd to boo Joshua at some point, but that only happens if Joshua struggles to land clean shots. And for that to happen, Jake would have to run. A lot. I wouldn't be surprised if the game plan involves constant movement early, survival first, and awkward tactics later. Maybe they believe Joshua can be tired out. But let's be honest, that's unlikely. The only way Joshua finds himself in trouble is if he treats this like an exhibition. If he drops his guard to an absurd degree, Jake might capitalize. That's the lone road to victory I can see. If this ends with Jake Paul slumped on the canvas, staring up at the lights while Joshua barely breaks a sweat, that image will live forever. It'll follow Jake into every promotion and every fight that comes after. But the Paul team probably doesn't care. They'll lean into the narrative that stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua alone deserves respect. A loss becomes part of the story. Then comes a comeback arc. Jake has done this before. He rebounded after Fury. He'll rebound after AJ. A few easier fights, a couple highlight knockouts, and the narrative flips once again. In the short term, this might look ugly, but long term, it doesn't kill the Jake Paul brand. As long as he escapes without serious damage, the show goes on. For Anthony Joshua, this fight is simply a stepping stone. The real prize is still Tyson Fury. That fight is inevitable. It's clearly the Saudis' top target for the coming year. Everything is aligning for it to finally happen in the latter half of next year. But first, Joshua has to get through Jake Paul. And if I had to make a prediction, I see Joshua finishing this somewhere between rounds 2 and 4. Now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this fight? What's your prediction for fight night? Drop your opinions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know. Thanks for watching, fellas. I'll catch you in the next one. Oncoming Fist.